Chairperson, thank you very much. On 32, I mentioned that I have dealt with the issue of our common interest between myself and Sergeant Nkosi previously, which included biking, sports shooting, and of course appreciation for good food. Sergeant Nkosi and I shared no business relationship, joint venture, commercial arrangement, common business interest whatsoever. Further, I do state for the record, Chair, that during the period of December 2024 to about June 2025, he assisted me by recommending the services of a driver. There was no quid pro quo involved. He merely assisted a friend in need, and I paid the driver for the services he was providing to me.
Then in paragraph 2.9 of the notice, at page 6, have you had a relationship or interactions with Mr. Joseph Banyoni and Mr. Mandla Mqina, whether directly or indirectly or through Sergeant Nkosi or anybody else? And your response is at the foot of page 8 from paragraph 35.
Thanks, Chair. Paragraph 35 and 36 are confirmed for the record that I do not know Mr. Joseph Banyoni. I have never had any direct or indirect, either through Sergeant Nkosi or any other person, any relationship, associations, or dealing with him, nor have I ever had any personal, professional, or intermediate connection or interaction with him. On 36, I deal with the matter of Mr. Mandla Mqina, where I confirm that I did meet Mr. Mandla Mqina, and I was introduced to him by Sergeant Nkosi. The introduction happened in a social setting, Chair, and from my, view, was entirely coincidental. On that occasion, Sergeant Nkosi had suggested that we go to a restaurant better known as Wamaimai, which is known for serving a variety of traditional style street food. Sergeant Nkosi and the gentleman coincidentally, according to my observation, encountered each other at the restaurant, and Sergeant Nkosi obviously knew him. He then moved forward to introduce me to him. My interaction with Mr. Mqina was limited to being introduced to him, where we briefly exchanged pleasantries. There was no prior arrangement to meet up with him. During these exchange of pleasantries, he asked me for my contact details, which I provided to him.
The arrest of prominent taxi tycoon Joseph Banyoni has sent shockwaves through South Africa's taxi industry and intensified scrutiny surrounding allegations of organized crime networks operating across several provinces. Sibanyoni was arrested on Tuesday evening by members of the Special Task Force in Pretoria before being transported to Mpumalanga, where he is expected to appear in court on charges linked to an extortion case involving a mining business in Kwaggafontein. The arrest was confirmed by Mpumalanga Police spokesperson Colonel Mavela Masondo, who said the investigation dates back to a case opened in November 2025. According to Masondo, organized crime investigators had been probing allegations that a group of 4 suspects had been extorting money from a businessman in the mining sector, and said there is a case of extortion that was opened in November 2025. Our members from organized crime have been investigating that case, which involved 4 suspects. He explained that Sibanyoni was allegedly one of the key figures implicated in the case, and said he's one of the 4 suspects. The investigations were completed, and the suspects were arrested in the early hours of Tuesday morning. 2 of them were arrested in Gauteng, including this prominent businessman. They were allegedly extorting money from a businessman who is in the mining industry in Kwaggafontein. The dramatic arrest comes as Sibanyoni's name has increasingly surfaced during the high-profile Matlanga Commission hearings and parliamentary ad hoc committee proceedings investigating the alleged infiltration of law enforcement and government structures by organized crime syndicates. Over recent months, testimony before the commission has repeatedly painted Sibanyoni as a well-connected figure allegedly operating within circles that included senior police officers, politicians, municipal officials, and controversial businessmen. One of the commission's most explosive moments involved suspended police sergeant Fani Nkosi, whose testimony drew widespread public attention after he admitted under intense questioning that he had visited Sibanyoni's residence at least 12 times between March 2024 and September 2025. Initially, Nkosi appeared to downplay the relationship, suggesting he had only met the influential taxi boss once or twice. However, evidence leader Advocate Matthew Chaskalson confronted him with WhatsApp records allegedly showing repeated contact between the 2 men. and said, "Why would you have told us yesterday that it was 1 or 2 times?" Nkosi denied misleading the commission and said, "I did not say it was 1 or 2. I said I can't remember exactly how many times." Nkosi responded before eventually conceding that he had indeed visited Sibanyoni's home 12 times. The exchange became one of the defining moments of the commission and intensified public concern about the extent to which influential individuals may have enjoyed access to senior members of law enforcement. Further testimony before the commission also linked Sibanyoni to influential figures with local government structures. Investigators heard that Nkosi allegedly sent suspended City of Tshwane Chief Financial Officer Gareth Mnisi a link to the launch of the Joe Sibanyoni Foundation, raising additional questions about the businessman's connections inside municipal circles. While no criminal findings have yet emerged directly from the commission proceedings, the testimony has significantly elevated Sibanyoni's public profile and placed him at the center of the allegations surrounding what witnesses described as the so-called Big Five cartel. The alleged network has been accused during the commission's hearings of involvement in a wide range of criminal activities, including extortion, taxi violence, hijackings, drug trafficking, tender fraud, and contract killings. Witnesses appearing before the commission described a shadow web of relationships allegedly linking taxi bosses, underworld figures, politicians, and corrupt law enforcement officials. Sibanyoni's growing notoriety intensified even further after he survived an apparent assassination attempt outside the Centurion Golf Estate in August 2022. The attempted hit shocked many within political and business circles and fueled speculation about violent rivalries allegedly linked to criminal networks operating within the taxi industry. Subsequent investigations reportedly connected to a white BMW to suspects allegedly associated with controversial businessman Vusimuzi Matlala, another figure whose name has frequently surfaced during the commission's hearings. The Matlala Commission itself was established after explosive allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, who claimed that organized crime syndicates has infiltrated parts of South African police service and elements of criminal justice system. Since its establishment, the commission has had disturbing testimony from the investigators, whistleblowers, and witnesses alleging that powerful criminal syndicates have operated with political protection, with influential policing structures and state contracts. The hearings have exposed what some observers describe as a dangerous convergence between criminal enterprise, political influence, and economic power. Despite the mounting allegations and public scrutiny, Sibanyoni has not been convicted of any offense connected to the commission testimony. Many of the claims presented during the hearings remain untested in court, and the businessman remains innocent until proven guilty. Nevertheless, his arrest marks another dramatic development in a saga that continues to grip the nation and deepen concerns about the alleged reach of organized crime within South Africa's political, business, and law enforcement spheres. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.